So today I'm getting ready to build the bush runner and put it in the ground and use it like a Dakota Fire pit. I was expecting rough terrain, but really what I found out here was beautiful fertile soil, and it gave me the opportunity to show you guys something that I really want to highlight with this stove. Now, the StealthFyre is what you could call a leave no trace style stove and fire pit, just like the original Dakota Fire pit that it was based on. You can literally leave no trace with this stove. But what I've done here is I have pulled up the topsoil, the grass, the sod. I've gotten that up and out of the way, and I've saved it over to the side over here. And I'm going to remove the soil out of this, and then we're going to put the bush runner down inside, and I'm going to build a little tripod and cook us up some stew for dinner tonight. And once I'm done, we'll be able to lift that stove up out of the dirt and fill in the hole, put the topsoil on it, and you won't even be able to tell there was a fire here. You'll see a little bit of turned up soil and such, but a day or so later, that's going to look just as normal as the rest of the soil around here. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this depth. And it looks like we are at the perfect depth right there. So now what we do is we get in there and we try to level this as much as possible, because we're going to be setting a stove down inside of this hole it's got a flat bottom, so it needs a flat surface to set on. If there's big rocks that are sticking up, this one right here might be the biggest one I've encountered. Go figure, we're going to have the biggest stone right at the base where we need the floor at. That's not a big deal if we can get it out. It might be too big. Yeah, that's a large stone. So what we're going to do is we're just going to level it out to the point of that stone there, so it doesn't interfere. Having our stove sticking up above the ground a little bit isn't going to bother us. So now we're just a little bit above the surface, and that's going to work perfect. Now the bush runner, it's only going to be like this wide. It's going to have a lot of dirt on either side here, and I hope I made this long enough to where I'm going to have the same amount of dirt all the way around. I like to dig my pit a couple inches wider than the actual stove, regardless of whether I'm using my bush runner or the origin kit, because that gives you a good buffer zone to keep the bushes and stuff away and keep them from getting burned. So now we're going to put our bush runner together. Now you always have to make sure that each one of these elbows interlocks with its counterpart on the other panel, so that all four of these elbows lock together to keep that corner nice and secure and not falling apart on you. Alright, there's my bush runner stove. And it's time to get a flashlight or something here. Alright, so last night we set up this bush runner stove here with some good topsoil that I set aside, and we cooked up a stew. And it rained all night, so we got a bit of a muddy mess right in here. We're not going to make it look perfectly, leave no trace, but you know, after a few days of sitting in the sunlight, letting the plants grow back over it, you're never going to know that this was here. In most cases, you can just grab your stove, lift it up out of there, dump your dirt back in, and move your dirt into the hole again. Oh, and you know, maybe a good thing to do when you got soil like this and you're building your Dakota fire pit, look for earthworms so you can do fishing in the creek you're camping on. Catch yourself some dinner. Another earthworm right there, good fishing bait, you know. So I'd say count that as just another benefit of building the Dakota Fire Hole. As you're digging your hole, you can be looking for bait to catch your dinner. And that's where we had our fire. Taking the stove apart is also pretty simple. You just basically undo it the very same way you put it together. And our stove is disassembled and ready to be built in a different fashion.